Moz is a bit of an acquired taste, so let me do the talking, and whatever you do, don't stare.
At what?
Any of it.
That's great, yeah.
At the core of Star Wars is that charm. It is a science fiction film with sci-fi characters and creatures and aliens, but it remains grounded, and you only truly get that if you shoot using practical effects.
Star Wars has a particular feel to it, a charisma almost about it, that we had to hold on to. In order to add further characters, we had to be very careful that we designed them and constructed and brought them to life in a very sensitive way.
The number of creatures that we've made is sitting around the 105 mark, believe it or not. Once we knew what the character looked like, we'd go back and invent a backstory which helped drive it forward a little bit.
This is called a snooty pirate. He's a hand puppet, so he works very much in the traditional sense of hand puppetry. They have a great charm about them because they rely very much on the skills of hand puppetry, and they bring a very different life to them than a character that's worn on someone's head. This one is the other end of the scale, where this one is highly animatronic. This one has the ability to do loads of movement, performed in real time using what we call a performance system that allows the person who's operating this to act and talk and deliver a set of lines.
A lot of what we do here isn't really a lot different to what's existed before. We've just learned different techniques and just improving what's already gone before in a way.
Watch out!
I'm here!
This character here is an animatronic character, so he can blink, his eyes can move, he can sniff his nose. Obviously it's worn by a performer and his head's inside. But once the performers who were inside here started to bring them to life with their own body language and with their own acting, they tell 1,000 words. They're really, really clever.
That's cool.
This is what you'd call a legacy character. I mean, you can't make a Star Wars film without what we call a power droid or a gonk droid. These were copied from the original as faithfully as we could, but a little person plays a role inside here. I think originally Kenny Baker would have played this role as well as R2.
So I'm about to get into this huge box, and I've got these big feet here, and I just walk very, very slowly.
Hi there, I'm Mike Quinn, and I'm playing Nine Numb. And I was also Nine Numb in Return of the Jedi.
Nine Numb, yeah, absolutely, held with great affection.
He's probably slightly more polished than the original.
In Jedi, he was a puppet, sort of like a big hand puppet, essentially, with my hand inside the mouth. And this is totally different. I mean, this is way ahead of that. He's got eyebrows and nice facial scrunchy things.
I'm sure his return will be celebrated as much as the return of any character.
You've done a lot of work. You've been busy in here, haven't you?
Oh God, yeah,
That's amazing.
There's definitely a lot of family influence on this film. Warwick Davis had his first big break in the original Star Wars trilogy.
Just like that.
In this film, we've got Annabelle, his daughter, who's playing a character, a little yellow, furry character that we've done a bit of the hair work on.
In Return of the Jedi, I played Wicket the Ewok. That was my first experience with Star Wars. And now, I managed to kind of make my way into Episode 7, which is brilliant. You know, we're working with some of the best filmmakers in the world here, you know, in all departments, you know, the guys that build this stuff. I mean, if you see inside my head here, it's phenomenal. Look at that. I mean, it's a pity that we don't see that, because that is a work of art in itself.
That's mine!
This is Unkar. Unkar was the junk dealer. This is a silicone prosthetic, very malleable. So once this was glued down and, you know, these were all part of him, he was able to, you know, bring his own personality, be his own person.
Simon had a live cast done, so his body fitted within that skin. And then my job as a fabricator is to marry up the head and the body and to free up the body so he can move in it and attach silicone hands and to line it, make sure that Simon's comfortable.
We did all the close-up work on Unkar at Pinewood because the mask had to be glued to my face so that the articulation was there. We couldn't do that in Abu Dhabi because of the heat, so we used a pullover mask and a sort of fat suit and rubber hands. It was extremely hot, worryingly at times. My heart rate would go up a little bit and I'd just have to keep going, it's Star Wars, it's Star Wars, it's Star Wars. So I was prepared to suffer without complaint as I melted literally inside this silicone prison.
So one thing that The Force Awakens has really done is it brought together creature effects on the practical production side and creature effects on the CG side. And then we have these times, with Unkar where we meet in the middle a little bit, where we have a creature on set, but then you want to add some little details to the character, and that's where the CG can be used sort of in conjunction with those great prosthetics to produce something that's sort of better than both.
Follow the girl and get that droid.
Reaching for controls, so is Days, here we go, and Peter, give her a look.
It would almost be presumptuous to believe that we could add anything to this character. He is what he is, and to us it was a little bit like an archaeological dig, that what we're really trying to do is go back in time and find out exactly how Chewbacca was made. I think it was Stuart Freeborn's wife knitted Chewbacca's suit. It was a wool knitted suit to which they applied all the hair and things afterwards. And we thought, well, you wouldn't do that today. Why would you bother doing that? There are many more materials and better fabrics that we can use. The truth of the matter is the way a woolen suit moves is absolutely incredible. The way it flexes, the way that it has that weight. So it was not done because they didn't have the right, the sort of materials or better materials. It was done because that was the way to do it. So we knitted these suits. Hopefully we've really kind of created what we believe is the best possible replica of the Chewbacca suit.
With a very large stroke of luck, we managed to get hold of one of the original sculpt heads, so we've actually ended up mimicking exactly the shape of Stuart Freeborn's original head, so it should look as close to the original Chewbacca as we could make it. The hair is yak belly that's all of the bodysuit's knotted with, and most of the head as well, and there's a bit of mohair on the face as well, which just softens it out a bit.
Hair by hair, every detail that we could, we tried to create as perfect a replica, even down to the way the mechanical mass worked.
He's very simple. There's no big animatronic movements in there. Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca originally, basically opened and closed the mouth of the head with his own mouth. There was nothing fancy. So we've been trying to kind of keep it simple and just try and copy completely.
When Peter and his wife came in and they saw it for the first time, they were very emotional. I think, it brought back many memories for them. I remember we put our Chewbacca face onto Peter, and as soon as it dropped onto Peter's face, it was Chewbacca.
It's better, it's lighter, it looks as good as the original one did. I think everybody is going to be very, very pleased.
When I first saw Chewie on set, without any shame whatsoever, I asked if I could have a hug.
I think we've worn the suit out probably quicker than we expected, because every time you meet someone, they just want to hug him.
You guys look amazing. I mean, each one of you looks so incredible that a movie could be made just about each of you. You could not look better.
Neil Scanlon and his team did an absolutely amazing job. The look of these creatures is extraordinary and blew everyone away.
But also just not only thank you guys, but also obviously the incredible team of creature and makeup and... Wonderful.